Last year we had just finished the Single Creek film, and I was praying about several new project ideas. And then I met a wonderful couple in my Bible study class. As we became friends, Isabel and Claudio shared their journey through their 3 miscarriages and their broken dreams. And when I first heard their story, I felt a jolt go down my spine. And that was the genesis of When Mourning Breaks. Yeah, first of all, it's not just a woman's issue. The last time I checked, a pregnancy still requires a guy's involvement. Seriously though, I was researching for this idea, and I saw several documentaries, including personal stories. And they were all about abortion. There were none out there that I could find in regards to miscarriage pain. But 99% of them were women. And with the absence of male voices, it's no wonder that the stereotype lives on. But you know, men feel pain just as much as women do. We just express and manage it differently. Whether it's losing your buddies in Vietnam like Dane shared in the film, or the trauma of an abortion experience. A guy often buries his emotions as deep as he can and wants to walk away from it so he doesn't have to deal with it. So I thought it was just a miracle to have connected with Dane and Lori Wren and to listen to the ways that God's mercy flowed through Lori when Dane finally comes to the realization that he should tell his secret to his wife of 12 years. Just amazing to see how God's been healing both of them. And then Yolanda and David's experience illustrates in another wonderful way the man's role in redemption and healing. It was remarkable to listen to how God worked with David to the point where David saw Yolanda's 3 abortions as his losses too. So I thought these were great illustrations of marriage issues and how men have a role to play in grief recovery. And my own birth story was another compelling reason for me to take on this topic. I mean, as you saw in the opening of the film, my mother had a miscarriage, and it was my twin. She had had an IUD inserted because she and Dad already had 3 healthy kids and couldn't afford to have a 4th. For her to get pregnant and then to go through the Methergin drugs to contract the uterus to expel the miscarriage material so she wouldn't get an infection, the whole thing is astounding. I even got an email from the OB, retired OB doctor who treated my mother while she was pregnant with me, right before we started production on this movie. And I was so humbled that this man who was chief of OB at LA County Hospital during his career had overseen more than 300,000 baby deliveries. And he said he still remembered my case. And so I wanted to commit time to do this film, to give an offering back to God for my life. Kevin and I had just finished interviewing Dr. Jean Christinger, and I got a phone call from a friend who told me that she heard we were doing a film about miscarriage and abortion, and she shared that she thought God wanted her to tell her story. Well, we scheduled the interview about 3 times, and every time we had to reschedule. And finally, I just gave it to God and kept working. And it was literally a week before we were about to start on post-production. And Monica called me and asked if we were finished yet. She said she felt like she was finally ready to tell her story, and asked if we could come up to Camp Kalakwa, where she had planned a private memorial service to honor the baby she aborted. And I can't express how powerful it was to be in that horse barn with the camera, knowing that this was the first time she had ever read the letter to her baby publicly. I believe God's timing is perfect and in every area of life. And to witness Monica being surrounded by her closest friends, I doubt there could be a more beautiful example of the tender ways that God's people can love and support each other when they're going through hard times. On several occasions, I had people say to me, "You can't do a film like this, it's impossible." One woman who had had 3 abortions said to me that abortion pain is worse than miscarriage pain because of the shame involved. And then another woman spoke to me when she heard we were doing this, saying that, and she had never been able to have children, and she said, well, my pain is worse than a couple who had a miscarriage and eventually had children. So it's amazing that for most of us, when we go through adversity, we feel as if our pain is the worst in the world and no one can understand my pain. And I think this film really pulls back the curtain on these perceptions and rips the labels off so that, the political labels, so that people can see each other as fellow human beings on an equal level, people equally in need of a Savior, people equally in need of His healing that only He can give. As you saw in the film, with miscarriage being so common, the pain of the loss is often misunderstood and marginalized. In regards to abortion, if a pastor affirms the abortion loss, he or she risks being labeled as liberal, unbiblical, or condoning premarital sex. It's going to take strong leaders, and it's going to take time. Perhaps churches assume that the pro-life movement is taking care of abortion recovery issues, but that's really not the case. It's hard for people to find pregnancy loss, especially Bible-based pregnancy loss support groups around the country. So if somebody's watching and they have a heart for this issue, to minister to the silent pain in their church, this is a great opportunity, and it's a big one. Our public screening edition DVD is designed to help minister to these hurting people in your church, and the DVD is licensed so you can show it to the whole congregation. And there's also a unique study guide so that group can get together and discuss the various themes that come up in the film.